The Grand Hall of the United Earth Council fell silent as Dr. Thomas Reed walked onto the stage. His weathered face showed the strain of 15 years of research, but his eyes sparkled with triumph. Behind him, the massive screen displayed complex equations and diagrams that would change humanity's place in the universe forever. Ladies and gentlemen of Earth, and our distinguished guests from the Galactic Council, he began, looking directly at the alien representatives who sat in their special environmental chambers. Today, we announce that Project Ascended has successfully developed seventh-dimensional travel technology. A burst of laughter echoed through the hall. It came from Ambassador Green, as humans called him due to his emerald skin, the lead representative of the Galactic Council. His translator converted his chirping sounds into English. Dr. Reed, your species barely mastered fourth-dimensional calculations a century ago. You expect us to believe you've somehow leaped to seventh-dimensional technology. More laughter followed, this time from other alien representatives. Dr. Reed remained calm. He had expected this reaction. We have proof. Our test vessel successfully navigated through the seventh dimension last week. The data. Impossible. Ambassador Green interrupted. Even our most advanced civilizations, with millions of years of progress beyond Earth, have only theorized about sixth-dimensional travel. Your primitive species has existed for barely a moment in cosmic time. In the front row, General Laura Banks gripped her armrest tightly. As head of Earth's defense force, she knew what was at stake. Humanity had suffered the aliens' condescension for 50 years since first contact. They traded with Earth but treated humans like clever pets, always reminding them of their place in the galactic hierarchy. Dr. Reed clicked his remote. The screen behind him showed a small, sleek vessel hovering in a massive underground chamber. This is Prometheus, our prototype vessel. We've completed 3 unmanned tests. In each one, it successfully moved through 7 dimensions, bypassing the normal limitations of space-time. The alien representatives buzzed with angry conversation. Ambassador Green stood up, his environmental chamber hovering with him. If you are somehow telling the truth, this technology is too dangerous for your species to possess. The Galactic Council cannot allow. General Banks stood up, her voice sharp. Earth is not under your jurisdiction, Ambassador. We are an independent world. A world that could destroy reality itself with such power. Green's translator crackled with his intensity. If you truly have achieved this breakthrough, you must turn over all research and technology to the Council immediately. Dr. Reed smiled slightly. The data is already secured in quantum vaults across Earth. Even if you destroyed every copy, the knowledge exists in the minds of our scientists. This is not a negotiation, Ambassador. This is a courtesy announcement. The alien representatives began floating out of the hall, their environmental chambers humming with anger. Ambassador Green lingered last, his large eyes fixed on Dr. Reed. You have no idea what forces you are playing with. The Council will not stand for this. After they left, the human audience erupted in applause. Dr. Reed had done it. He had shown the aliens that humanity wouldn't be pushed around anymore. Later that evening, in his office deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Reed looked at the real Prometheus through reinforced windows. The prototype in his presentation had been a decoy. The actual vessel was much larger, its hull covered in patterns that seemed to shift in impossible ways. They're already mobilizing their fleets, General Banks said, walking into his office. Our deep space sensors detected multiple ships entering the solar system. Dr. Reed nodded, unsurprised. And our defense grid. Ready. But if the aliens really attack, she trailed off. They won't need to attack, Dr. Reed said confidently. Because tomorrow, we're launching the first manned test. Once they see what Prometheus can really do, they'll understand that everything has changed. He touched the window, looking at the vessel that represented humanity's greatest achievement. They laughed at us today, General, but soon they'll learn that humanity's primitive minds have unlocked something they never could. We didn't just master seventh-dimensional travel. We found something far more important in those higher dimensions. What's that? General Banks asked. Dr. Reed's reflection smiled in the window. Power. Real power. And tomorrow, the galaxy will finally have to take us seriously. Outside, Prometheus waited in its cradle, its impossible geometries promising a future where humanity would never be mocked again. The Pacific Ocean facility buzzed with activity at 3 a.m. Deep beneath the waves, in a chamber larger than 10 football fields, engineers and scientists rushed around Prometheus like ants around a fallen giant. The vessel's surface rippled with strange patterns that hurt the eyes if watched too long. Dr. Reed stood on the observation deck, drinking his fourth cup of coffee. The main screen showed a countdown, 18 hours until launch. Behind him, the door slid open with a soft hiss. "The final crew reports are in," said James Wilson, the head engineer. His usual neat appearance was replaced by wrinkled clothes and messy hair. No one had slept properly for days. "The ship is ready." Dr. Reed nodded, studying the massive vessel below. "And the dimensional core?" "Stable. The seventh-dimensional energy field is holding perfectly." James walked to the window, his tired face reflecting in the thick glass. "Still can't believe we did it. 10 years ago, this was just theory on a whiteboard." The story of Project Descendant's birth was already becoming legend among the staff. It had started with a mistake, a simple error in Dr. Reed's calculations while studying quantum physics. But that error had revealed something impossible, a way to access higher dimensions beyond the usual 4 dimensions of spacetime. Other scientists had called him crazy. The aliens had said it was impossible. But deep in this underwater base, built in secret with funding from every nation on Earth, the impossible had become real. "Security report." General Banks's voice came through the intercom. 3 alien vessels have entered orbit. They're demanding to inspect the facility." "Denied," Dr. Reed replied immediately. "Our defense grid. Active. They can't scan through our 7th-dimensional shielding. They're blind to what's happening down here." Dr. Reed smiled. The aliens' advanced technology was useless against science they didn't understand. Humanity had leaked beyond their comprehension in one giant step. "Dr. Reed." A young technician rushed into the room, holding a tablet. "You need to see this. The dimensional readings from the core. They're showing something new." The main screen changed to show a complex graph. Dr. Reed's eyes widened. The 7th-dimensional energy wasn't just stable. It was growing stronger, adapting, evolving. "It's like," James whispered, "like it's alive." "Not alive," Dr. Reed corrected. "Aware. The higher dimensions aren't just empty space like the aliens thought. They're something else. Something wonderful." The ship's surface patterns shifted faster, creating shapes that shouldn't be possible in 3-dimensional space. Several engineers stopped their work to stare, mesmerized. "All personnel, attention." General Banks's voice echoed through the facility. "We've detected multiple alien ships entering the atmosphere. They're heading for known human military bases. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Dr. Reed grabbed the intercom. "All Project Descendant personnel, proceed with launch preparations. We're moving up the timeline. New launch window, 6 hours." The chamber erupted with renewed activity. Engineers raced to complete final checks. Security teams moved into position. In the center of it all, Prometheus pulsed with otherworldly energy. "James," Dr. Reed turned to his friend. "Get the crew ready. Full briefing in 1 hour." "Tom," James grabbed his arm. "Are we sure about this? The aliens aren't just afraid anymore. They're angry. If we launch now, they'll what? Try to stop us." Dr. Reed's eyes gleamed with determination. "Let them try. Humanity has been looked down upon for too long. We're not their pets or their students or their children. We're something they never expected. We're innovators. And today, we're going to show them exactly what that means." Above the facility, Alien ships circled like hungry sharks. But they were too late. In 6 hours, Prometheus would rise from the depths, carrying humanity's greatest achievement into the stars, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The countdown continued its steady march toward zero, each second bringing Earth closer to its moment of triumph or disaster. Red lights flashed throughout the underwater facility. On every screen, the timer showed 3 hours until launch. Captain Marcus Stone, commander of Prometheus, stood in the briefing room with his crew of 5, all of them watching the main display with grim faces. "This is your final warning." Ambassador Green's translated voice filled the room. His image on the screen showed him aboard his command ship. "Stand down immediately. Disable your facility and surrender all seventh-dimensional research, or face the consequences." The United Earth Council's president stood firm in her response. "We are a sovereign species, Ambassador. Your threats are a violation of galactic law." "Laws?" Green's translator crackled with scorn. "You dare speak of laws while developing technology that could tear reality apart. We have 800 warships entering your solar system. Surrender, or we will be forced to take action." Captain Stone switched off the screen. His crew looked at him, waiting. They were the best Earth had: pilots, scientists, and soldiers chosen from thousands of candidates. Each had trained for 2 years for this mission, but nothing could have prepared them for this moment. "Well," Stone said, his deep voice calm, "looks like we'll have company for our test flight." Dr. Reed burst into the room, followed by General Banks. "Captain, we have a problem. The aliens aren't just making threats anymore. They've started attacking our orbital defense stations." "Casualties?" Stone asked sharply. "No, they're using precision strikes, disabling our weapons but avoiding loss of life." The general's face hardened. "They're trying to show mercy to the primitive species." "Status of Prometheus?" Stone asked. "Ready," Dr. Reed replied. "But we've detected something strange in the seventh-dimensional readings. The core isn't just stable anymore. It's resonating with something out there." Through the reinforced windows, they could see Prometheus in its launch chamber. The ship's impossible patterns moved faster now, almost eager. Suddenly, every screen in the facility lit up red. Ambassador Green's face appeared again. "Humans," he said, his alien features twisted with what might have been concern. "We've detected your energy signatures. You truly have breached the seventh dimension. This is beyond dangerous. This is cosmic irresponsibility. For the last time, stand down." Stone looked at his crew, then at Dr. Reed and General Banks. No words were needed. They all nodded. "Ambassador," Stone replied, "watch closely. You're about to learn why underestimating humanity was your biggest mistake." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Very well. You leave us no choice. All ships, target their underwater facility. Prepare tow." The transmission cut off as the facility's defenses activated. Above in the Pacific Ocean, alien ships discovered that their weapons couldn't penetrate the seventh-dimensional shield protecting the base. "All crew, to your stations," Stone commanded. His people moved with practiced precision, heading for the ship. "Dr. Reed, begin launch sequence." The massive chamber began to drain, water rushing out through huge pipes. Prometheus stood revealed in all its glory, a vessel that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the human eye could see. "Captain," Dr. Reed caught Stone's arm before he could leave. "There's something else you should know. The seventh-dimensional readings, they suggest we're not just traveling through higher dimensions. We're going to make contact with something out there. Something that's been waiting for a species to reach this level." Stone absorbed this news calmly. "Hostile. Unknown. But it's powerful. More powerful than anything the Galactic Council has ever encountered." Above them, alien weapons fire uselessly splashed against the facility's shields. The countdown reached 1 hour. "Time to show the galaxy what humanity can do," Stone said. He headed for the ship, his walk steady and determined. Behind him, Dr. Reed watched the dimensional readings spike higher and higher. The launch countdown continued as 800 alien warships converged on Earth. But they were about to learn that superior numbers meant nothing when facing a force that could bend reality itself. Prometheus waited, its hull shimmering with seventh-dimensional energy, ready to carry humanity's hopes into a universe that would never again dare to laugh at Earth. Launch sequence initiated, echoed through Prometheus's bridge as Captain Stone settled into his command chair. Around him, his crew worked at stations that defied normal geometry, screens and controls that seemed to fold into themselves. Alien fleet is concentrating fire on our location. Lieutenant Adams reported from Tactical. Still no effect on our shields. Water drained from the massive chamber as Prometheus powered up. The ship's hull hummed with energy that made reality itself shiver. Through the view screens, they could see hundreds of alien vessels positioning themselves above. Seventh-dimensional core at full power. Dr. Reed's voice came through the comm from the control room. Captain, you need to know. The readings are off the charts. Something out there is responding to our activation. Stone's hands gripped his chair's arms. Crew status. All stations ready, his XO reported. But sir, something's happening to us. She wasn't wrong. Every person aboard Prometheus could feel it. A strange awareness creeping into their minds. It was as if their consciousness was expanding, reaching into spaces that shouldn't exist. This is your final warning. Ambassador Green's transmission cut through their comms. Power down, or we will be forced to. Launch now, Stone commanded. Prometheus rose. The ocean above parted as seventh-dimensional energy warped space around the vessel. As they breached the surface, 800 alien ships opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked toward them from all directions. But before they could hit, something impossible happened. The attacks passed through the space where Prometheus had been, but the ship was simultaneously behind, above, and beside their targeted location. Sir, Adams gasped, we're everywhere and nowhere at once. The crew felt it too. Their consciousness expanded further as Prometheus fully activated its seventh-dimensional drive. They could perceive realities layered upon realities, possibilities flowing like rivers through dimensions humans had never known existed. My God, Stone whispered. Through the view screens, they could see the alien fleet from multiple dimensions at once. Each ship existed in a web of quantum possibilities, and Prometheus could move through all of them. Captain, Adams called out. Something's coming. Something big. The higher dimensions, they're responding to us. The space around them began to glow with colors that had no names in any human language. The alien fleet's weapons fell silent as their sensors went crazy, trying to track a vessel that existed in more dimensions than they could perceive. Through their expanded awareness, Prometheus's crew felt a presence. Ancient, vast, waiting. They're here, Stone said, somehow knowing what approached. The ones who built the paths through the higher dimensions. The ones who left the clues in our quantum equations. The alien fleet's formation broke as their ships tried to retreat. But it was too late. Around Prometheus, space itself began to fold and ripple. Sir, Adams reported, his voice filled with awe. I'm detecting structures in the seventh dimension. Massive ones. They're like cities made of pure thought. Not cities, Stone corrected, the expanded awareness filling him with understanding. Libraries, universities, they're testing grounds left behind by beings who ascended beyond our universe, and humanity just passed their first test. Through the impossible view screens, they watched as reality shifted around them. Prometheus didn't just fly through space, it danced through dimensions, each movement taking them further from normal space-time. Captain, his XO called out, the alien fleet, they're trying to communicate. They're baiting. Stone smiled. The same aliens who had laughed at humanity now watched in terror as Prometheus demonstrated mastery over forces they couldn't comprehend. Take us higher, Stone commanded. Let's show them what humanity can really do. Prometheus surged upward, not just through space, but through dimensions. As they rose, the crew's awareness expanded even further. They could see the strands of reality itself, could touch the very fabric of existence. And in the seventh dimension, something vast and ancient smiled upon humanity's arrival. The real test was about to begin. Reality rippled around Prometheus, like waves on a pond. The ship existed in multiple places at once, its hull glowing with energies that no alien sensor could properly track. Captain Stone stood on his bridge, watching as existence itself seemed to bend to humanity's will. "Sir," Adams called out, his voice filled with wonder, "we're receiving knowledge. The seventh-dimensional beings, they're teaching us how to use our full potential." The entire crew felt it. Information flowed into their minds, not as words or pictures, but as pure understanding. They learned in moments what the ancient seventh-dimensional beings had prepared for them over millions of years. "Multiple alien warships approaching," the XO reported. "They're attempting to surround our position. All our positions." Stone smiled. "Let them try. Show them what Prometheus can really do. Activate all seventh-dimensional systems." The ship pulsed. In an instant, it split into 12 perfect copies, each one as real as the original, each existing in a slightly different dimension. The alien fleet's formation scattered in panic. "Impossible." Ambassador Green's voice crackled through their comms. "No species should have this much power. You'll destroy everything." "No, Ambassador," Stone replied calmly. "We're going to fix everything." With their new understanding, the crew activated Prometheus's true weapons, not beams or torpedoes, but pure dimensional energy. Each copy of the ship released a wave of seventh-dimensional force. Space twisted. Time bent. The alien ships found themselves frozen between moments, their weapons useless, their mighty engines powerless against forces they couldn't comprehend. "Sir," Adams reported with amazement, "we can see their entire fleet's past and future at once. We can move them through time." "Gently," Stone cautioned. "We're not here for revenge." Through their expanded consciousness, the crew could feel the ancient beings watching, evaluating how humanity would use this power. Violence was not the answer, control was. Prometheus's copies moved in perfect harmony. Each one manipulated a different aspect of reality. One ship controlled gravity, another bent time, a third shifted probability itself. Together, they created a web of pure dimensional energy around the alien fleet. "Message from Earth," the XO announced. "Our orbital stations are back online. The alien ships, they can't move. Let me show you true power, Ambassador," Stone said, opening a channel to the alien fleet. "Watch carefully." With a thought, Prometheus's dimensional web activated. 800 alien warships, the pride of the Galactic Council's fleet, were lifted out of normal spacetime. They hung suspended between dimensions, completely at humanity's mercy. What are you doing to us?" Green's voice shook with fear. "Teaching you respect," Stone replied. He nodded to his crew. "Show them what we could do, if we wanted to." One of Prometheus's copies shifted slightly. The alien ships watched in horror as one of their unmanned scout vessels was moved backward through time, aging thousands of years in seconds before crumbling to dust. "That," Stone announced, "is just one thing we can do. We could send your entire fleet 1,000,000 years into the past or future. We could shift you into dimensions your minds can't comprehend. We could erase you from reality itself." The alien ships hung motionless. Their mighty weapons, capable of destroying planets, were nothing against Prometheus's control of reality itself. "But we won't," Stone continued, "because humanity has learned something you never did. True power comes with responsibility." In the higher dimensions, the ancient beings radiated approval. This was why they had chosen humanity, not for their technology, but for their heart. "Your choice, Ambassador," Stone said. "Continue this fight, and face powers you can't imagine, or talk to us as equals. For the first time ever, you have no choice but to take humanity seriously. The alien fleet hung in dimensional suspension, waiting for their leader's response. Above them, Prometheus's 12 forms shimmered with unlimited potential, ready to reshape reality itself if needed. Humanity's moment had finally arrived. The galaxy would never dare laugh at Earth again. The Galactic Council's emergency chamber had never been so quiet. Thousands of alien representatives sat in their environmental pods, watching as Ambassador Green delivered his report. The massive hologram above showed Prometheus hovering in space, its 12 forms still holding the entire alien fleet in dimensional suspension. "They could have destroyed us all," Green said, his translator struggling to convey his shock. "They could have erased our entire fleet from existence. Instead, they showed mercy." The council leader, a being of pure energy contained in a crystal sphere, moved forward. "How did we not see this coming? How did we miss humanity's potential?" On the main screen, a new image appeared. Captain Stone, standing on Prometheus's bridge, addressed the entire council for the first time. The ship's seventh dimensional field allowed instant communication across the galaxy. "Distinguished members of the council," Stone began, his voice calm but firm. "For 50 years, you treated humanity like children. You laughed at our achievements. You dismissed our potential. Today, that changes." The council chamber erupted in urgent discussions. Some representatives demanded immediate military action. Others called for diplomatic solutions. A few simply wanted to flee. "We don't want war," Stone continued. "We don't want revenge. What we want is respect, equal standing in the galactic community. And most importantly, we want to share what we've learned." This silenced the chamber. Share. The species they had mocked was offering to share the most powerful technology ever discovered. "Captain Stone," the council leader spoke, "you must understand our concern. The power your ship wields, it could destroy reality itself." "Yes," Stone agreed. "Just like your antimatter weapons could destroy planets. Like your quantum bombs could erase solar systems. Power has always existed. What matters is how we use it." Through their seventh dimensional awareness, Prometheus's crew could feel the ancient beings watching this exchange with interest. This was the true test, not mastering the technology, but showing wisdom in its use. "We offer a new beginning," Stone announced. "Release all sanctions against Earth. Recognize us as equals. Allow us to establish a new division within the Council, the Department of Dimensional Sciences. We will teach other species about the higher dimensions, under careful supervision." The council leader's energy form flickered thoughtfully. "And if we refuse?" Stone smiled. "Look at your fleet, held between dimensions by just one Earth ship. Do you really want to refuse?" Across the galaxy, on thousands of worlds, billions of beings watched this transmission. They saw humanity standing tall, offering peace from a position of unimaginable strength. "The council will vote," the leader announced. The results were swift and nearly unanimous. Fear played a part, certainly, but so did respect. Genuine respect at last. Resolution passed. The leader declared, "Earth is granted full council membership with all rights and privileges. The Department of Dimensional Sciences is authorized under human leadership." Stone nodded. With a thought through Prometheus's systems, the alien fleet was gently released from dimensional suspension. 800 warships hung motionless, their crews still processing what had happened. "One more thing," Stone added. "The next time a young species presents a new discovery, remember this day. Remember how wrong you were about humanity's potential. Every race deserves respect and the chance to grow." The council leader's energy form pulsed in agreement. Perhaps we have grown too proud, too set in our ways. Humanity has taught us a valuable lesson." As the emergency session ended, representatives from dozens of worlds approached Earth's ambassadors, eager to establish new relationships. The same species that had once mocked humanity now sought their friendship and guidance. In orbit around Earth, Prometheus's 12 forms merged back into one. The crew felt the ancient being's satisfaction. Humanity had passed both tests, mastering the technology and showing wisdom in victory. The galaxy would never be the same, and it was all because humanity had refused to accept their assigned place in the universe. 1 month after the Prometheus incident, Earth's orbital space looked very different. Hundreds of alien ships now peacefully orbited the planet, not as a threat, but as students and diplomats. The Department of Dimensional Sciences headquarters, a massive station existing partially in the 7th dimension, gleamed like a jewel among them. Dr. Reed stood at the station's main observation deck, watching as the second human 7th-dimensional vessel, Athena, prepared for its maiden voyage. Captain Stone joined him, now wearing the new uniform of Earth's dimensional fleet. "Hard to believe it's only been a month," Stone said, looking at the activity below. "Everything's changed so fast." "For the better," Reed replied, gesturing to a group of alien scientists eagerly studying dimensional equations on floating screens. "Look at them. The same beings who laughed at us are now our most dedicated students." The station hummed with energy as Athena activated its dimensional drive. Unlike the desperate launch of Prometheus, this was a carefully planned test flight. Representatives from 50 alien worlds watched in awe as the ship smoothly split into multiple forms, dancing through dimensions. "Message from the Ancient Ones," Stone's communication officer called out. The 7th dimensional beings, as they now knew them, had become regular teachers to humanity, sharing knowledge that spanned millions of years. A shimmer of pure thought appeared before them, translating into words everyone could understand. "The student species progresses well. Your teaching methods are acceptable." Reed smiled. The ancient beings' approval meant everything. They had chosen humanity not just for their potential to understand the technology, but for their capacity to teach others responsibly. "Ambassador Green requests permission to board," a station officer announced. "Granted," Stone replied. The same ambassador who had once threatened Earth now served as the main liaison between humanity and the Galactic Council. Green's environmental pod floated onto the observation deck. "Remarkable progress," he said, watching Athena's test flight. "My people's finest engineers have already begun understanding the basic principles. Thanks to your teaching, of course." "That's why we're here," Reed said. "Knowledge should be shared, not hoarded. Power should lift up, not hold down." Below them, Athena completed its test, its multiple forms merging back into one perfect whole. The watching aliens burst into applause, a human gesture they had eagerly adopted. "The Council has approved the expansion of the Dimensional Sciences program," Green announced. 10 more learning centers will be built across the galaxy, all under Earth's supervision, naturally. Stone nodded. In just 1 month, humanity had gone from being mocked to being the galaxy's most respected teachers. Every day, more species applied to learn about the higher dimensions. "There's something else," Green added, his translator conveying excitement. "We've detected 7th-dimensional signals from other galaxies. The Ancient Ones, they say humanity is ready to make contact." Reed and Stone shared a look. Of course, this had just been the beginning. The ancient beings hadn't just been testing humanity's ability to handle power in their own galaxy. They were preparing Earth for something much bigger. "Captain Stone," Reed said, "looks like Prometheus might need to make another historic journey." "First," Stone replied, "we finish setting up the teaching program. We do this right. Show every species the same respect we wished we'd received." Through the station's 7th-dimensional sensors, they could feel the ancient beings' approval radiating like warmth. Humanity had not only mastered the technology and shown wisdom in victory, they had become true teachers, guides for an entire galaxy's evolution. "To think," Green mused, "just over a month ago, we were laughing at your claims about dimensional travel." The laughter stopped. Stone said with a smile, but something better replaced it. "Understanding." As if to emphasize his words, Athena lit up the space around Earth with a magnificent display of seventh-dimensional energy, painting the sky with colors that existed in multiple realities at once. The gathered aliens watched in wonder, no longer in fear, but in appreciation of what humanity had taught them. The galaxy's new dawn had arrived, and humanity led the way not through force, but through wisdom, teaching, and respect. The ancient beings had chosen well.